I love these themes, and to be able to do it in this kind of supernatural, spiritual, natural way that also has some scares is a great deal of fun. So yeah, I could go on and on. I really could. I could like ruin the whole book right now. Yes.
So you talked about the effect that the books being Wallflower had on readers, the letters that you see from young readers especially. So I was wondering what you think it is about the characters specifically that resonate with audiences today in the same way that they did.
The character of Charlie, you mean?
The characters in general.
In general?
Yeah, all the
You know,
characters.
I think because, over the years, it's been really, really a fascinating experience to meet people everywhere I go. It's always so sweet. And where, maybe because I'm writing about outsiders in a way, but I'm not writing about them like, I don't know, it's just, I always felt a little bit like the ugly duckling. I always kind of did my whole life. Even though I know, I was a bit of an athlete. I know how to get along with people. I really love people actually, and I have a sense of humor, so I got along fine. But privately, I always felt like this was the mask and this was the real person, and that I learned to get along in the world through here, versus that. So it was like something of a confession, and I think that maybe people relate to the characters because, I think there's a lot of people in the world that I've met, so many of them, that they relate to. Why do I feel so dumb, and yet I kind of think maybe I'm the smartest person in this particular room? And that's an interesting dichotomy. To feel like I'm part of this special club, and why are we considered loser? I don't understand. You know what I mean? You feel other, and so it's about other. That's why I related so deeply to doing Wonder, So yeah, I think maybe that's it. I don't know. It's different for everybody. Some people relate because, whether it's like they struggle. I've had people come up and say, I spent 6 months in a mental hospital, and all I did was read your book, and it got me through the worst depression of my life. And other people have said, like, I was gay, and I didn't know. It was like a first experience with like reading Patrick and how cool he is. So it's like the gay kid's the cool kid, it's not the victim. It's, you know what I mean? It's an empowering thing for a group of people who are usually kind of disempowered, So it's kind of, it's like Rocky with the Misfits, Yes.
So my daughter just texted me and told me to say hello to you because she's read your book a million times. Unfortunately, she's out acting herself. She's got a couple shows that she's doing over the next couple of weeks here. So I would like you, since we said hi to your wife, would you say hi to Noelle?
I will happily do that if you want. When we do the signing line, just come up and I'll do the full-on 1 minute way to go kid. You better believe it. Absolutely, love it.
Woo!
Whatever picture I'll stay. Yeah, I'm very friendly. I'm good. Whatever you want. Your wonderful daughter, done.
You can just say Noelle right now. I got your video taken.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Noelle. Born Christmas Day a few years
Wow.
ago.
Hello, Noelle. This is Stephen Chbosky. I'm the author of the Bookshops Wallflower. Thank you for reading it so many times. That's amazing. Break a leg with your show tonight, and you have a hell of a nice father.
Woo!
Yes, and then yes, go.
So you've talked a few times now about how you would film Imaginary Friend. I'm just curious, have you cast it in your own mind already?
Ish. It's funny. Here's the one thing. I have to think about it in a slightly different way. It might end up being on television because it's a longer book, and I don't know if I can get it into 2 movies like it. I don't know if I can. So it might go there, and that changes everything. I would say the only thing I'll say about casting officially is I am so devastated that Noah Jupe and or Jacob Tremblay are too old to play Christopher. Because working with those two boys on Wonder, oh my Lord, they're amazing. And so yeah, if I could get I made a joke once, like I should just give them a lot of cigarettes, just keep them nice and stop growing, so they can do it. I'm only half kidding. So yeah, a little bit, but it's really just we'll see what it is, and then I'll know how to cast it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Gotta be a miniseries. I got to read the arc. My daughter works at a bookstore, so I've
great,
read it.
fantastic. Well, thank you. Yeah,
I want to see
probably. certainly with Mary Catherine, she's like my canary in the coal mine. She's a character that's very near and dear to me. For those who haven't read the book, she's the most Catholic girl ever. She's based a lot of my experience being raised Catholic, being young, and they scared the heck out of me when I was a kid. And so you know, yeah, I wouldn't never. I can't cut her whole journey. Her whole journey is like one of my favorite things. I only wish I thought of that character before, to put her in the picture of Wallflower. You know, so yeah. Thank you. Yes.
So you have all these works of art now that you've written between screenplays and books, and I'm sure everyone listener has a favorite line that's like very meaningful from Perks to them. What's the most meaningful line to yourself that you've written?
The most meaningful line to myself that I've written?
So the most meaningful line you've written that's like most meaningful to you personally.
Yeah, it's easy. It's we accept the love we think we deserve. That line, when I wrote that, I wrote it when I was 26. And it was one of those things that you write it, you go, you stop and you go, wow, that's true. And it took me a long time to actually apply it to my life. But that was always my main goal. When I met Liz, about 11 years later, then I finally figured it out. It's not just love of romantic love, it's friends. It's like, it took me a long time to realize that I was a swan, right? Not the ugly duckling we were talking about before. That takes time, it took me time. And it's all because of Liz, honestly. So yeah, we said the love we think we deserve forever. You know, it's somebody asked me, look, I was taking a risk with this one. I know it's a genre switch, even though it's the same themes and other things. And, you know, you don't know, I'm so proud that it's on the list, it's wonderful, and people seem to be really liking it so far, which is great. But I don't know, listen, the only thing I ever do that is remembered many, many years from now is like, you know, Perks, or even that I helped Wonder by, you know, she went from 6 million to 60 million copies in a year thanks to the movie. I'm like, fine. You know what I mean? I'm a lucky person, so that's how I look at it. So I'm glad, I'm curious what your favorite line is.
The one I've always gone back to is In This Moment We Are Infinite.
Okay.
That's the one that's gotten me through everything.
Oh, I'm really glad. Thank you. Oh, no, okay. Yes?
So you mentioned that you were a really big horror fan, and I as well, so it's my best friend.
Great.
I was just wondering, when you were writing, did you have any specific horror influences that came into your head, or any elements that you felt like needed to include in the closet or something that really?
No, you know, it's interesting. There wasn't, like, as I said, Stephen King's my favorite writer of all time. I read so many of his books. I actually, when I started writing this, I had to kind of stop reading him because his voice is so amazing that I was like, I'll just try to mimic him completely. So I did a diet, which was really sad because he's like my favorite. So I missed about like good 8 years of his work because of that. And then, so yeah, I would say just the idea of like you can do multiple characters, the idea that you can have character first and then like small town settings. I love his work because I related to it so deeply. It wasn't like I was like pretending to be him when I wrote it. It was more of like, I just love this, I love this whole atmosphere. So I started writing about my neighborhood and my childhood memories and my friends and all those things. So yeah, no, it wasn't, it just, there's like dreams that I had. In one case, a literal nightmare. I remember being in, so I'll share this moment. So 4th, 5th grade, back when kids could actually walk home and stuff, you know. So every Friday night for a long time, I had a buddy, Kevin Dover, and so where I lived, Carmel Drive, it was a very steep hill and down an embankment, okay? Kevin lived on this side of the hill and I lived on that side of the hill. And I would walk up Carmel Drive, and I would always walk, like, you know, in the afternoon, so I'd go and hang out at his house. I'd walk in the afternoon on Fridays, and it was light out. And I would go and I would have dinner with his family, and then we would watch 2 horror movies. And because we had this guy, Chili Billy Cardell, who would show, you know, like those old movies, they would show, you know. So I watched 2 horror movies, and now it's time to walk home. And I'm 10, and now it's dark. And I walk over the hill, and these 2 houses right here, they had the biggest trees, and it was dark, there was no street lights. It terrified the hell every time I walked over this. And one time I had this nightmare. I leave Kevin Dover's house, and everything seems normal, like every Friday. I walk over the hill between the creepy trees, I go and I stop, and I fall down and I cannot get up, and then a car drives up the street and parks, the door opens, and feet hit the ground, and it's my 5th grade teacher, Ms. Caritis, and she like walks over to me and she goes like this, she just walks and says something, and then out of nowhere, goes right at my face and goes, like that, and I wake up and I'm like, oh my God. So when I started writing, what for all I know would be my only horror book I ever write in my entire life, I was like, I gotta put in a version of that, and that became the character of the hissing lady. And the hissing lady evolved from that moment on and became other things, but that was the genesis of that. So I knew I was going to include that and other things. In terms of like mimicking tropes, nothing. It was just really I love Stephen King and I love character and horror, and so everything I loved about everything I kind of went into this one. Yeah, this was a kitchen sink book. Right? Yes.
Do you hope to write more in the horror genre, whether it's a film or books?
Yeah, there's kind of a built-in sequel to this one, and which I didn't know when I started. And once I did, I was like, yeah, I kind of want to know. I kind of want to know next. So yeah. So time for one or two more questions if you have it. If not, I have a special surprise. Maybe it's not a surprise. You might know that it exists. Yes.
Not really a question. I just wanted to thank you for mentioning how much you like Stephen King.
Oh.
Because I've been trying to get her to read The Body for about a year now.
Get her to try to read what?
The Body.
The Body's amazing. He's right. He's totally right. Yeah. And The Stand is like, I think, his best book. The Long Walk's amazing. The Shining is like one of the scariest books ever written, if not the scariest. So yeah, list as long as you're on. Yeah, he's totally right. There you go. And I like your sweatshirt of Bears football. I think it's really great. And I really like your Dunder Mifflin. Look at that. Look at this cool family. All right. Wow. Bears and Dunder Mifflin.
And Big Lebowski.
And Big Lebowski. Wow. All right, cool dad. All right, so here's is that all? I don't want to cut it short? Okay, cool. Here we go. So here's my surprise. It may not be a surprise. So, no, I did not have an extended cut of the Bookshops Wallflower, although I tried. But I did have the 20th anniversary edition. And when publisher said, would you like to do anything? And I didn't want to just like slap a sticker on it and call it a new thing. It's not. I wanted to actually make it a new thing. And I wanted to use this moment in time when I had this coming out to like write something new. For those of you who don't know, what I did for the 20th anniversary edition was I wrote a new letter from Charlie to dear friend. And I want to share it with you now. I'm very proud of this letter. What?
So proud. I really started calling. Yeah, I read dear friend. In that.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you.
We're gonna cry.
All right.
Okay, great.
I may too, because it has been one hell of a day. All right. So, because those of you that have read the book, and you know that for 20 and a half years, it ended, and I will believe the same about you, love always Charlie. And I cannot wait. And the reason I wrote this is, I cannot wait for the next 14, 15, 16-year-old kid to then go, okay, wow, I was really good, and then turn the page, and now it says afterward. And here it is. September 18th, 2012. And that is my, September 18th is my anniversary, so that is a little quiet homage to my beautiful wife, Liz. September 18th, 2012, dear friend. I haven't sent a letter to you for 20 years. I don't even know if this is still the right place to send it, but I'm going to send it anyway and hope that you find it. It would mean the world to me if you found it, because I want to say thank you. Years ago, there was a very sad kid who needed a whole lot of help, and writing to you was the beginning of that help. Whatever I've learned as an adult, I have never forgotten what it was like to be that kid. What it was like to feel like no one could understand these feelings because I couldn't understand them myself. I have never forgotten feeling sad or crazy or depressed or outside of my own self and own body. And on the great days, I've never forgotten what it was like to go on those drives with those songs, with those beautiful people whom I still call friends. That kid wrote some letters and sent them out into the world to a stranger he had heard about. And then something amazing happened. You wrote back. I know I didn't enclose my real name or address, but somehow my letters were shared. People passed them around the way Patrick's poem was. Xerox and traded, whispered like a secret passport. However it happened, it happened. You read my letters, and then some of you wrote back. You sent letters to random addresses. Some of them were forwarded along to me. Maybe some of them weren't. I don't know if I got all of them, but I got enough of your letters to realize something extraordinary. And if you could see the boxes and